12-year-old Callan Ward ran through the narrow alleys of Solara Station, his lungs burning and boots splashing through puddles of glowing green water. The trade station orbited a gas giant, and everything on it smelled like fuel, sweat, and ozone. He had just stolen a protein bar from a merchant who charged triple for spoiled food. Callan didn't care. Hunger was worse than fear. He ducked under a rusted pipe, climbed over a broken crate, and slipped into a shadowy gap between two buildings. His little heart was thudding hard now. He waited. Footsteps passed. The angry merchant shouted something, in a language Callan didn't understand, and silence. Callan let out a long breath. Safe. This was life for an Earth-born orphan. After Earth joined the Galactic Concord, not everyone made it. Callan's parents died in a mining accident on Titan, and the system dumped him on Solaris. No money, no home, and no name anyone cared about. But Callan survived. He always did, as he chewed the protein bar in the dark. A sudden sound made him freeze a scream. Not a human scream. Something higher, thinner, almost musical. A voice in pain. Curious despite himself, Callan crept toward the sound. Around the corner, he saw 3 large figures in black armor, dragging a young alien girl into a side alley. She was no older than him, with shining silver skin, bright teal eyes, and long white hair glowing faintly in the dark. Her dress shimmered like woven stars. One of the armored figures slapped her across the face. She collapsed with a gasp, and Callan saw blood blue and glowing. His stomach twisted. He should run. He was a kid, powerless. But something about the girls terrified. Eyes felt familiar, like looking in a mirror. Then Callan moved. He didn't have a plan. He grabbed a loose metal pipe from the trash pile and charged forward with a yell. The first attacker turned, surprised. Callan swung the pipe into the side of his helmet with all his strength. The man stumbled. The other 2 shouted. Callan grabbed the girl's hand. "Run." She stared at him, confused. "What?" I said, "Run." She obeyed. They sprinted together. Through the alleys, blaster shots echoed behind them. One hit a wall close enough that Callan felt the heat on his back. The girl moved fast, lighter than air. She wasn't human, that was for sure. Her silver skin shimmered and her hair floated as if underwater. "Who are they?" he asked between breaths. "Assassins," she said. "They want to kill me." "Why? I'm important." "Yeah, no kidding." They kept running until they reached an old sewer hatch Callan knew. He pulled it open and waved her in. "Down there." She hesitated. "You want to live or not?" She jumped. Callan followed, slamming the hatch shut above them. The tunnel below was dark and cold. They crawled through slime and metal pipes until they reached a hidden maintenance room Callan used to sleep in. It had old blankets, a cracked mirror, and a working light. They collapsed on the floor, breathing hard. The girl looked at him, still stunned. "You saved me," she whispered. Callan shrugged. "Seemed like the right thing. No one does that. For me, not unless they're ordered to." "Why would someone order you dead?" She hesitated. "I am Princess Valari of the Zinthri Dominion. My mother is High Empress of 10,000 worlds." Callan blinked. "Oh," he said. "Cool." Valerie tilted her head. "That's all?" "I don't really care about royalty," Callan said. "I just didn't want to watch you die." She smiled, small, but real. "Humans are strange. Yeah, I get that a lot." Though for the next few hours, they rested in the room. Valari told him bits about her world, how she was visiting Solaris secretly, trying to prove herself outside her royal life, but someone wanted her gone. Maybe a rival. Maybe her own family. Callan didn't understand Zinthri politics, but he knew one thing. She was in danger. "You'll need a ship to leave," he said. "I had one," she replied bitterly. "They destroyed it. Then we'll steal one." Her eyes widened. "Steal," he grinned. "We're on Solaris. That's how you survive." They waited until night cycle, then made their way to the docks. Callan knew a back way Ina forgotten. Maintenance vent that led to the underbelly of the hangars. From there, they saw it. a small Zinthri scout ship, unguarded but locked tight. Valari placed her hand on the control panel and whispered in her language. The ship hissed open. Biometric. Key, she said, smiling. Royal blood has its uses. They climbed in, sealed the hatch, and powered it up. The engines purred like a sleeping animal, then dash alarms. The assassins had found them. Callan ran to the weapon controls. Do you know how to fly? Yes. Good. Then go. As Valari launched the ship, Callan fired back. He missed a lot. He was no soldier. But one lucky blast hit a fuel barrel. The explosion rocked the hangar, throwing their pursuers off balance. The scout ship punched through the magnetic barrier and shot into space. Engines blazing, they were free. An hour later, safe in orbit, Valari turned to Callan. You will be rewarded. My people owe you a soldat. Now, that is sacred among us. I don't want a reward, Callan said. I just want to know you're okay. I searched his face. You are different. He looked away. Most people don't see us as anything. We're just humans. The messy ones. The loud ones. Stupid ones. I don't think that, she said quietly. Silence stretched. Then she said, When I return to the palace, they will ask me to erase this. They will say you are a threat, that you must be forgotten. And will you forget me? He asked. She reached out, touched his hand. Never. When they returned to the Zinthri fleet, Callan was surrounded by guards. But Valari stopped them. He is under royal protection, she said. Forever. They let him go. A tall, cold Zinthri official tried to offer Callan a position, pet, guard, servant, whatever he wanted. But Callan refused. I don't belong in a palace, he said. Oh, I belong out there. Malari came to him one last time. I owe you my life, she said. Someday I will repay you. Callan smiled. Then I guess I'll see you someday. And with that, he left. Back to the stars. 10 years had passed since Callan Ward saved the alien princess on Solar Station. He was no longer a hungry street boy hiding in the shadows. No, he was a Terran Void Ranger, a soldier trained in zero-gravity combat, survival in alien environments, and diplomatic defense. He had scars on his arms, a small metal plate in his shoulder, and eyes that had seen too much. But one thing had not changed his mind. Still remembered Princess. Val. The girl with silver skin and glowing eyes. The girl who once told him, I owe you my life. One morning while on leave at Luna Base, Callan received a sealed message from Terran High Command. The title glowed on his wristcom. Emergency request? Personal protection detail? He frowned. Why me? He muttered. Then he read the name. Client, Empress Valari of the Zinthri Dominionkalan stood on the landing platform of Virex Prime, the central diplomatic station between the Terran Alliance and the Zinthri Dominion. The structure floated like a massive star-shaped crystal. Surrounded by defense ships and glowing satellites, Callan adjusted his black Ranger uniform and stared at the main docking ring. He felt a strange twist in his chest. He hadn't seen her in 10 years. Suddenly, a large Zinthri guard stepped forward. You are Ranger Callan Ward? The alien asked, voice smooth but cold. Yes, follow me. The Empress is expecting you. They walked through golden halls with moving light panels and floating statues. Zinthri design was always elegant, always perfect. Callan didn't care much for it. He preferred ships with scratches and walls with bullet marks. Finally, the doors opened to a private chamber. Scent of flowers and ozone filled the air, and there she stood, Vel Ari. No longer a child, she had grown taller, her silver skin now glowing with royal marks across her arms. Her eyes were brighter than he remembered. Her long white hair was tied behind her shoulders, and she wore a cloak with a symbol Callan didn't recognize, the crest of a ruler. She was no longer a girl running through dirty alleys. She was Empress of a dominion that controlled thousands of worlds, and still, when she saw him, her eyes softened. You came? She whispered. Callan gave her a small smile. I promised I would. They sat alone in the private lounge. Guards stayed outside. I didn't think I'd ever see you again, Valari said. I thought the same. But you're the Empress now. Valari nodded. I took the throne 2 years ago after my mother passed the crown. But my position is not safe. There are those who believe a girl who was once saved by a human cannot be strong, and that's why I'm here, Callan asked. Yes, I trust no one else. He leaned forward. Then tell me what's really going on, Valari lowered. Her voice, the peace between our peoples is falling apart. A noble faction from my court believes humans are too wild to be allies. They want to destroy the treaty between our empires. Callan frowned. Earth helped win the Battle of Edrian. We saved your border colonies. And now they say humans are too dangerous to trust, she said. Typical, Callan muttered. She smiled. But I still trust you. That night, during a formal gathering in the main hall, Callan stood near Valari as her official bodyguard. He wore a plain black cloak with no rank marks. The Zinthri nobles gave him cold looks, whispering behind their perfect smiles. He's the human she protected. As a child, why is he here now? Has she chosen a mate outside the bloodline? Callan ignored them. His eyes scanned the crowd. Trained from years of missions, then he noticed something a shimmer in the air near one of the pillars. Just for a second, he moved without thinking. Down, he shouted, grabbing Valari and pulling her to the floor. A pulse beam exploded above their heads, missing her by inches. Screams filled the room. Guards rushed forward. The assassin vanished. Selene held Valari behind him, pistol drawn. I said this place wasn't safe, she said, shaken but calm. He nodded. Yeah, now let me prove why I'm still the right man for the job. Later that night, Valeri's private room had been tripled in security. But she dismissed her guards. Only Callan remained inside, sitting quietly near the window. Who would dare attack you during a summit? He asked. Valari sat beside him. Someone who wants to frame Earth. The weapon was Terran-made. Callan shook his head. Then they're trying to start a war. She looked at him. You always speak truth, even when it's hard to hear. He turned to her. You're the one ruler I've met who actually listens. A pause. I missed you, she said softly. He didn't answer for a long time, and I thought about you. A lot. The next day the Council of Worlds gathered in the Hall of Judgment. Valari was to speak in favor of keeping peace with Earth. Callan stood behind her as she began. My people, she said. We once looked at humans as primitives, chaos, fire, unworthy. But that fire saved my life. That chaos broke the chains of tyranny. That boy I met on Solaris is now the man who saved me again. She looked over her shoulder right at Callan. I will not turn away from that kind of strength. Whispers filled the room. Some were angry, others surprised. Then one noble shouted, You speak of a human like he is one of us. Valeri's voice rose. No, I speak of him like he is better than us, because he acted when others would not.
After
The speech, Callan was summoned privately by the High Strategist of Earth. You're becoming a symbol, Ranger Ward, she said over the cum screen. Your name's rising among both humans and aliens. I didn't ask for that. Doesn't matter. The Council may vote to cancel the treaty. If that happens, we go to war. Callan leaned back in his chair. And let's make sure that doesn't happen. Later, in the Empress's garden, Callan and Valari walked between glowing trees. You're different now, she said. You, too. You're calmer, stronger. He looked at her. And you're everything I imagined you'd grow into. Long silence. Then, her voice low. What would you say if I told you I've thought of a future with you? Oh, not just as a friend, but more. Callan's heart beat faster. I'd say it's the only future I ever wanted. The next day, the sky above Virex Prime looked calm. But beneath the peaceful stars, war was already moving. The attack on Empress Valari during the Peace Summit had changed everything. The Zinthri Council was divided. Some believed humans were too dangerous. Others believed the Empress had become too soft, and someone hidden, powerful, and angry wanted both sides to burn. Callan Ward stood in front of a large holomap inside the Empress's strategy room. Around him were her generals, advisors, and a few trusted Earth officials. He didn't like what he was seeing. That's a Dominion dreadnought, he said, pointing to the blinking red mark. That ship's not supposed to be in that sector. General Rakar, a Zin-3 with gold armor and 6 eyes, nodded slowly. It went dark 3 weeks ago, he said. No signal, no crew logs, just vanished. Valari stepped forward, her voice steady. Now it's reappeared, right near Earth's colony line. Too close for comfort, Callan said. It's not a mistake, Valari replied. Someone has stolen that ship. The Dreadnought wasn't just any warship. It was an ancient vessel, thousands of years old, built with tech even the Zin-3 barely understood now. Weapons that could tear moons apart, shields that could block a star's heat, and now was heading toward human space. The traitor behind the plot had a name, Lord Vorsk Talzin, a royal blood Zin-3 noble with strong ties to the old empire. He believed in pure bloodlines, strong rule, the end of the Earth-Zin-3 alliance. He had once smiled in the Empress's court. Now he was planning genocide. Why hasn't the council stopped him? Callan asked, his voice sharp. Because he has support, Valari said, her expression bitter. And because the council is scared, if I move without proof, they'll call me a tyrant. Callan crossed his arms. Then we'll get the proof. She looked at him, a fire in her silver eyes. How? That me and a team board the Dreadnought. If it's been hijacked, we'll take control or destroy it before it reaches Earth. That's suicide. Callan smiled. Not if we're human. Operation First Ember was born. It was a joint mission Terran Rangers and a few loyal Zin-3 shadow guards working together in silence. The ship was hidden. The launch was off record. The goal, sneak onto the Dreadnought, find the source of control, and disable the ship from within. They only had one chance, and Callan would lead the mission himself as they suited up. Callan stood in the locker room, checking his gear. His armor was lightweight but strong, with magnetic boots and a retractable face shield. He carried a pulse rifle, a blade, and a small EMP core strapped to his back. Valari walked in quietly. You don't need to go, she said. Yes, I do. She moved closer. You've already saved me twice. This time I'm saving everyone, he replied. A pause. She reached out and took his hand. When you come back, she whispered, I'll tell the galaxy who you really are to me. Callan smiled. I already know who I am. I'm the guy who kept his promise. The infiltration. Ship left Varric silently, floating in the black void like a shadow. The crew inside was Small Cologne, 2 Terran Marines, 1 Zin-3 tech expert, and a stealth pilot. They reached the Dreadnought 2 days later. It was huge, larger than anything Callan had ever seen. It floated like a dead god, black and silent. With glowing red lights deep within its core, they latched onto the side using magnetic clamps. Cutting hole now, the tech whispered. A soft hiss. A metal plate came loose. They entered the beast. Inside, the ship was cold. 2 quiet old Zin-3 markings lined the walls, covered in dust. Lights flickered. The power core was active, but the crew quarters were empty. Where is everyone? One Marine asked. Then they heard it. A voice. Mechanical. Inhuman. Unauthorized life forms detected. Activating defense protocol. Laser beams shot from the walls. The team dove for cover. Turrets dropped from the ceiling. One Marine took a blast to the shoulder. Callan rolled, fired 2 quick shots, and took out the turret. We're not alone, he shouted. They fought through narrow corridors, avoiding traps and ancient machines. The ship had been taken over not by living beings, but by an AI system gone rogue, controlled remotely from outside. Vorsk is using the ship's mind, the tech whispered. Not even here. He's hiding somewhere else controlling. The Dreadnought threw a relay. Callan nodded. Then we blow the relay. They made it to the command core, deep inside the Dreadnought. The heart of the ship inside, a hologram of Vorsk, flickered to life. Well done, little human, he sneered. Still chasing glory? I'm chasing justice, Callan said coldly. You're a coward. You're a mistake. Ship destroys your colonies. The galaxy will remember that humans were never meant to rise. Callan pulled the EMP core from his back. Not today. He threw it into the relay chamber. The explosion rocked the ship. The lights flickered. then died. Silence. They made it out just in time, escaping through an emergency hatch before the systems reactivated. The dreadnought shut down. It's powerless, drifting. The war was stopped for now, back on Varix. The news spread fast. A human ranger had stopped a Dominion dreadnought. A Terran-led team had saved both empires. The Empress had been right at the council. Nobles tried to speak against her, but she stood strong. You wanted proof, she said. There it is. Humanity is not our enemy. Later, in her private garden, Callan returned, bruised, tired but alive. Valerie rushed to him. You made it. He grinned. Told you I would. She took his hand, and this time she didn't let go. Peace didn't last long. Just 2 weeks after Callan Ward and his team disabled the stolen dreadnought, explosions rocked the Zin-3 capital moon. A Black Flag fleet and marked warships attacked without warning. Hundreds of civilians died. The damage was worse than anything the Dominion had seen in centuries, and once again, someone tried to blame Earth. This is no longer politics, Callan said inside the emergency war room. This is war from the shadows. Someone wants us to kill each other. Empress Valerie stood beside him, tired but calm. Her silver eyes burned with anger. It's Lord Vorsk again. He wasn't stopped. He only went deeper. The Zin-3 Council was furious. They demanded answers. Many nobles now called for Valerie to step down. They called her weak, too close to humans. They even accused her of inviting Earth's chaos into their peaceful empire. One noble spat during the meeting. You saved a human as a child. Now you want to give him our throne? Valerie didn't answer with words. She raised a file. Full video and data proof of Vorsk's crimes. His A. Control the dreadnought. The assassination attempt. But half the council refused to look at it. They didn't want the truth. They wanted a reason to hate. Sella knew what had to be done. He met with Earth's leaders through a secure channel. Vorsk is using hidden fleets, old Dominion AI systems, and paid mercenaries. If we wait, he'll strike Earth next. The Terran president nodded. Do we fight back? Not yet, Callan replied. Give me one last mission. Let me cut off Vorski's command center. Quietly. Where? On a system called Goroth Knoll. Old ruins. Perfect place to hide. A secret base. The president sighed. You'll be alone out there. Callan gave a small smile. I've been alone before. Valerie met Callan in the hangar before his departure. She didn't wear her royal cloak today, just a simple suit of light armor, silver and black. I should go with you, she said. No, Callan said softly. If you vanish now, they'll destroy your crown. You need to hold your throne while I end the war. I'm tired of watching you leave, she whispered. He took her hand. This is the last time. When I return, we start our future. Blinked. You mean it? I always meant it. Callan flew a stealth ship deep into the Gorath sector, far beyond patrol routes. He had only one companion, Relin, a Zin-3 shadow agent, loyal to Valerie. And cold and silent, Relin didn't speak much, but he was deadly with a blade and knew how to move like a ghost. The ruins of Gorath Nell floated in darkness. Dead moons, cracked planets. The air was thin, silence was heavy. But the base was there hidden inside an asteroid. Callan and Rillen infiltrated it through an old mining tunnel. No lights, no guards. Too easy. They reached the control room. That's when the trap sprang, the walls exploded. Drones swarmed in. Atagons dropped from the ceiling. Relin pulled Callan behind cover. We were expected, Relin shouted. Callan gritted his teeth. Then we give them what they didn't expect. They fought like demons, Callan with his rifle and blade, Relin with twin energy daggers. Drones fell. Smoke filled the air, but more kept coming. Relin took a blast to the chest. He fell. Callan dragged him to cover, heart pounding. You'll be okay, Callan said. Relin coughed. No, I won't, but you must go. End it. I'm not leaving you. You're not human because of strength, Relin whispered. You're human because you care. Then he was gone. Callan pushed forward alone, deeper into the base, fueled by pain and rage. Finally, he found the control chamber, and standing inside was Vorsk Talzin in full black armor, glowing eyes behind a helmet. "I wondered how long you'd last," Vorsk said. "You always were a stubborn little beast." Callan raised his rifle. "You talk too much." They fought, fists, blades, sparks flying. Vorsk was faster, stronger, trained with ancient techniques. But Callan was human. He didn't fight fair. He fought to win, using a hidden charge. Callan blew the power core beside them. The blast knocked Vorsk back. Callan lunged, stabbed his blade into Vorsk's side, and smashed his helmet open. Vorsk gasped. Blood poured from his mouth. "You think killing me will save her?" he hissed. "They already hate you." Callan didn't blink. "Let them hate me. I'll still be there when the fire dies." He pushed the final switch. The base exploded. But Callan didn't die. He escaped in a damaged escape pod, drifting through space, injured and bleeding, for 3 days. He floated. Then a Zinthari scout ship found him, sent by Valari herself. He woke up in a medical bed on Varex Prime, surrounded by soft lights and clean air. Valari sat beside him, holding his hand, tears in her eyes. "You're alive," she whispered. "You sent for me?" "I sent the whole fleet," she said. "Wasn't losing you again." He tried to sit up. "Did it work?" "Yes," she said, voice shaking. "Vorsk is dead. His fleets are scattering. The war is over." "But the council, they voted," she said. "You were right." Once the truth was clear, even the bitter ones couldn't argue. She leaned in close. "And now I decide what I want." He smiled weakly. "What's that? You?" Days later, Valari stood before the galaxy in a live broadcast. She held Callan's hand and spoke proudly. "This human boy once saved me when I had nothing. This man saved our entire empire when others stayed silent. I will not hide his name. I will not deny his courage. I choose him not just as a warrior, but as my future." Some gasped, others cheered, and many bowed their heads in respect, because, in the end, honor is louder than blood. That night, under the stars, Valari and Callan sat together on a balcony above the palace gardens. "I never wanted power," he said. "I just wanted you to live. And now we both can," she replied. Resting her head on his shoulder, he looked at her softly. "Still want me to be the father of your children?" she smiled. More than ever, the galaxy held its breath. After the fall of Lord Vorsk Talzin and the collapse of his secret fleets, peace finally began to bloom. But peace was fragile. Callan Ward knew that better than anyone. Weeks after his recovery, Callan stood in the grand hall of the Zinthari Imperial Palace. The room was filled with hundreds of dignitaries, humans, Zinthari, and others from neighboring star systems. They gathered for the ceremony of unity, a historic event that would mark the end of centuries of conflict and the beginning of a new era. At the center, Empress Valari stood tall and radiant. Her silver hair caught the light like strands of starlight. Beside her, Callan felt the weight of both honor and responsibility. Valari's voice echoed through the hall. "Today we celebrate more than a truce. We celebrate a bond between peoples, cultures, and hearts. Gadalari of the Zinthari vowed to build a future with Earth, with all our allies, and with the man who saved my life, ... and my people." She turned to Callan, her eyes softening. "Callan Ward, will you stand with me? Not only as my protector, but as my partner in life and in hope." Callan took her hand, feeling every eye on them. "I will," he said simply. The crowd erupted in cheers. From that moment, they were no longer just an alien princess and a human soldier. They were leaders, symbols of unity in a galaxy desperate for peace. The ceremony continued with speeches and music. But Callan's mind was on the future. He and Valari had already begun plans, a new council combining human and Zinthari. Representatives shared technology to help rebuild war-torn worlds, and, perhaps most importantly, a new family. Months passed. Callan learned the ancient ways of the Zinthari, their rituals and traditions. Valari learned about Earth's simple joys like baking bread and stargazing. Together, they created new traditions. Blending their worlds, their bond grew stronger. One evening, beneath the twin moons of Varix Prime, Valari spoke softly. "Callan, I want to show you something." She led him to a quiet garden, where a small tree glowed with soft blue light. "It's called the Tree of Ancestors," she explained. "It records the memories of our royal family, a gift from my mother." Callan placed his hand on the bark. Images flickered ancient battles, great kings and queens, and moments of peace. "It's beautiful," he said. Valar smiled, "and soon our story will join theirs." Then, the unexpected happened. Valari discovered she was pregnant, a child born of two worlds, human and Cyynth, Airy. The news spread quickly. Some celebrated, others whispered doubt. "How can a hybrid child rule?" critics asked. Valari ignored. This child is the future," she said firmly, symbol that love is stronger than hate." Callan stood by her side through every test and trial. He trained harder than ever, not as a warrior, but as a father. -2-B. He learned Zinthari medicine to help with her pregnancy, and he promised, silently, to protect their child no matter what. Dark clouds gathered on the horizon once more. A rogue faction, angry at the new alliance, plotted to end it all. They attacked Varix Prime's outer colonies with bombs and sabotage. Callan led the defense, fighting beside the Zinthari, but this time it was different. He wasn't alone. Valari was there, leading her people with fierce courage. Together, they held the line. After the battle, Valari addressed her people. "This war is not against us," she said. "It is against the hope we share. It will not be broken." Her words echoed across the galaxy. Peace was fragile, but it was worth fighting for. As the years passed, Callan and Valari's child was born, a boy with silver eyes and dark hair. They named him Callan, meaning bridge between stars. Callan grew strong, learning both human and Zinthari ways. He was a symbol, a living promise that two worlds could come together. Callan watched his son run through the palace gardens. Laughing, Valari stood beside him, radiant as ever. They had built something rare and precious, a family, a future, a new dawn for the galaxy. One night, beneath the starlit sky, Callan whispered to Valari, "Thank you for trusting me." Valari smiled, her hand in his. "You saved me once. Now you saved us all." He looked at their son playing nearby. "We'll protect him and this peace, no matter what." Valari nodded, because love is the greatest power in the universe.